So today we'll be talking about a new report on Alexa Bliss and Lilly's Endgame, Batista, Lacey Evans, and more. Let's start things right off with a comment from Batista. This week's edition of WWE Monday Night Raw featured the Raw Women's Champion defeating Asuka cleanly in the middle of the ring. Batista can be found in the comment section of WWE's Instagram post about that match with this message. Seriously? Jobbing out Asuka? WWE fans were split on Batista's comment. Some agreed with him, while others disagreed with him. But it has been a popular topic of discussion recently. Asuka still had a lot of success on the main roster. She won the first ever Royal Rumble, multiple title reigns, won the Money in the Bank, and so much more great success on the main roster. But fans, and even others like Corey Graves, have pointed out that it doesn't feel like NXT Asuka. NXT Asuka was just this brutal force that was terrifying to step in the ring with. You saw Asuka inside the NXT ring, and you knew it was over right away. Main roster Asuka has had a lot of success, like we mentioned before, but that NXT Asuka, that sense of character, doesn't feel like that's there anymore. Main roster Asuka also loses more than NXT Asuka did, so a lot of people make comments like the one Batista made. Some agree with him, but others feel like it was just a clean loss to the champion. Nothing to be ashamed of. But you can never really please everyone. When Asuka was undefeated, the talk online was that her streak made everything boring. When she started losing matches, the talk online was how she was buried. So you're never gonna really please 100% of the fan base at once. So hopefully there's still a good plan and direction for her on Raw. There's also a triple threat match coming up for the Raw Women's title. Rhea obviously isn't getting pinned. No chance Charlotte is getting pinned. So it's looking like it'll be another possible match for Asuka to take that pin, but we'll have to wait and see. So there was a new report on Alexa Bliss and Lilly's apparent endgame. The report claims that Alexa Bliss may be managing the live version of the doll in the future. The report also mentioned that they may not be actual major plans for Lilly, and it may just be a storyline device that fades away once they lose interest in it. Which sounds like the typical WWE writing, so that could be true for sure. But this report was one of those reports that felt a little flat. Not really groundbreaking information, basically just giving us the same guesses that all the fans have been talking about. And that's the fact that Lilly will come to life in this big, insane way. Everyone has already guessed that already, so nothing really exclusive going on there. And the note of WWE giving up on Lilly and the story fading away over time is another obvious thing as well. That's usually how things go in WWE, so this report was pretty vague and pointless, but we'll still discuss. So according to this report, there's a chance that Alexa Bliss manages the live version of Lilly doll that will obviously be played by another woman in that case. The only problem with this idea is that it still keeps Alexa Bliss on the sidelines as a manager, which is fine, but everyone is assuming that this story is building to Alexa Bliss's full return to the ring and her chase to the Raw Women's title. But if Lilly is portrayed by another woman, that doesn't totally write Alexa Bliss off either. After managing Lilly against Charlotte or someone like that, maybe Alexa and Lilly focus their attention on the dreadful women's tag team division. The entire women's tag team division has a total of like 3 teams, which forces us to see endless loops of rematches week in and week out. So a team of Alexa Bliss and Lilly would really make the women's tag team division interesting again. Knowing how WWE loves their pointless shock factor, sudden breakups for no reason, maybe Alexa Bliss turns on Lilly, gets rid of her, and then makes her move into the singles division from there. Yeah, that sounds like a mess and very chaotic, but that's just how things have been going with the Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss storyline. Nothing really makes sense, and there's lots of sudden changes with no explanation at all. So when it comes to Alexa Bliss and Lilly's storyline, there's a lot of hype, but there's a lot of worry as well. It's a lot to ask for, especially from the Raw team, but hopefully there's an actual plan and direction in mind for Lilly, because if not, then we could be going down another Fiend route. But let's hope that's not the case and that they actually get it right this time around. Are you looking forward to Alexa Bliss and Lilly? What would you like to see done with that storyline? Lacey Evans' storyline made Ric Flair uncomfortable? That's what Ric Flair is claiming. Ric Flair was recently speaking with ESPN MMA's Ariel Helwani and discussed how everything with Lacey Evans made him feel uncomfortable. He had this to say: "In this instance, I didn't feel comfortable. It didn't make a difference. One thing I've learned is that you're not going to win a war when someone has their mind made up. Charlotte most definitely didn't like it. I always say yes because I didn't want to be that guy who was like, that isn't perfect for me. I've been buried in the desert. I've gotten my head shaved. No other top guys have gone through this. I've done everything. I've gotten fired for a year because I took my shot to AAU Nationals. I've weathered every storm and come back. I got to TV and Mr. McMahon wasn't there to argue the point with. He had stuff going on, and I don't like to put pressure on someone if I can't talk to him. He had made up his mind. I think a lot of it is because Lacey is a Marine and we can't give enough back to the people who have served. He wanted her to be successful, and the way to be successful sometimes is to take two other people who are doing well and give them the rub. She's a nice girl, but it didn't fit. We made the best of it, and ultimately, she's pregnant now with her husband. It was never anything personal. I barely know her." So Ric Flair is claiming that he felt just as uncomfortable as Charlotte, and even the fans did for that storyline. Majority of fans all felt the same way about that storyline. They felt like it was very random and made them feel uncomfortable, but WWE benefited from all of that conversation because everyone was talking about that storyline, and as a company, you want people to talk about you, so it worked. That's why the controversial storylines usually help WWE, because everyone's talking about it. And that's what this storyline was. The Lacey Evans and Ric Flair storyline was far away from quality writing, but it got the job done of getting fans to discuss. Everyone had something to say about Ric Flair and Lacey Evans' storyline week in and week out, so you figure that WWE had to love that part of it. The storyline was dropped, though, after Lacey Evans became pregnant. There's some reports out there that claim to know the canceled endgame for the Ric Flair and Lacey Evans storyline. Lacey Evans was originally supposed to take the title off of Asuka around Elimination Chamber, and that would eventually lead us to Lacey Evans vs. Charlotte Flair for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. That seemed to be the direction they were heading in according to these reports, but obviously all of that had to come to a sudden end. WWE did wrap up that story and solve the conflict between Ric Flair and Charlotte Flair during a backstage segment where they talked things out and made up. Charlotte has now flipped her character around to being a self-centered heel, while Ric Flair has been off of television ever since. We'll have to see if anything ever comes out for Ric Flair to do on Raw. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Do you agree or disagree with Batista's comments? What would you like to see happen with Alexa Bliss and Lilly? And how do you feel about Ric Flair's reveal as well? Leave your comments, don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.